Welcome to the channel. All right, before I pop the trunk on Officer Satan, I want you guys to understand this, that I believe in personal accountability. However, I also think there are external forces that contribute to the situations. Some forces are hidden and some are not. But does that mean we don't critique both? Here's what I mean. If somebody has been in an abusive relationship for many, many years, some people will start to blame them. Why? Why you choose to stay in that relationship? Just leave, or whatever. And I get that. But does that mean we let the abuser off the hook? No. Now, let me put it this way. If there's a drug dealer in our community selling drugs and people are choosing to buy the drugs, the drug dealer's not putting a gun to their head, making them buy the drugs. They're choosing to destroy their own lives, right? But does that mean we just blame the people buying the drugs and let the drug dealer off the hook? No. See, a lot of these black conservatives like to hide behind this personal accountability, right? But they don't want to talk about those who planned out all the issues going on in the community. Let me give you my last analogy right here. If there's a restaurant in the community purposely designed to make people fat, but people keep going there because they lack discipline or because they like the taste of the food and it's cheap. And I know people are making personal choices to go to the restaurant that is clogging their arteries, giving them hypertension and high blood pressure. But I'ma still go to the restaurant and say, man, get your MSG-laden food out of my community. And folks, that's me. I'm never gonna let these hidden forces off the hook, okay? And with that said, now let's get into Officer Satan.
Black liberals are hilarious. It's funny how black liberals only think that conservatism deals with white people. I guess that explains why most African countries are conservatives. I guess that explains why most liberal countries are European. Y'all done drained the white liberal Kool-Aid. Did any of y'all even listen to Malcolm X and what he said about the liberals? If we would have kept our conservative values, we wouldn't have role models like Cardi B. Funny how y'all so indebted to y'all party that y'all will completely ignore what they're doing to the children.
There is no way whatsoever and no mission and method that I think the Democrats are promoting that will help black people. If you are a person that's saying that black people need reparations, you are an evil individual. You're either ignorant or you're evil. It doesn't make sense.
They act like conservatives have done something for black people. The truth is, nobody has done anything for black people in this country, right or left. And that's what I don't get. Ronald Reagan, the so-called #1 conservative, he cut programs in urban areas, funneled money to the rich, called Africans monkeys.
Pictures along the way, and last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television as I did, to see those monkeys from those African countries, damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The tail wags the dog.
Even Nixon was like, I'm racist, but damn, Ronnie. And why you even bringing up Africa without discussing colonization? And Europe is not as liberal as you think. Go to Italy or Russia as a black person. And we all know why Cardi B is where she's at. Those people put her there. Just like those people told you, Officer Satan, to talk about reparations as being evil. I just did a video on how they just have reparations narrative to make black people look like beggars. They don't intend to give black people a damn thing. They just want America to think we still focus on slavery. But in reality, there's enough shit they've done after slavery that we can focus on up till today. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about the people in charge.
Because I'm not going to lie, if I was on the fence about black folks and they got $5 million of my tax money and I see them over there selling dope and doing all this other stuff, in the country, there's going to grow a sense of animosity because nobody alive today experienced slavery.
Well, thanks to people like you and the media, they're not on the fence. They already have animosity. You see how basic his brain is? He just stereotyped black people as drug dealers. And why people don't have animosity when other people get the money. These other countries get the money. Nobody say shit. But y'all see how basic this big head fool is? I mean, he think he got a PhD in common sense. But all he's saying is shit his puppet master want him to say.
Nobody And you got white people that work hard every single day, and they like, well, how in the world are they giving $5 million to black people? And I work just as hard as Tyrone on my job. We work on the same job. How he get $5 million and I'm suffering? And then, like I said, the thing is that what are people gonna do with $5 million? What are they gonna do with it, except for make rich people richer?
Man, this goofball has no idea how this country works. This country has never did anything for black people. 40 acres and a mule went to mostly white slaves. And then in the history books, and then they just call them indentured servants. That's why you go to Tennessee, North Carolina, Alabama, out in the rural areas and see a lot of poor white people on a lot of land with their Confederate flags. But Hammerhead here wouldn't understand that.
You know, you can even look at statistical data now, the way that black people spend money. Not all, but generally speaking, black people buy high-end stuff more so than anybody else. Designer clothes more than anybody else per capita. The money spent on luxury vehicles is incredibly, I would say, more sought after from minority people than they are from white people.
You see how he threw that per capita in there? This is one of the tricks they use to stereotype black people. Less than 10% of black people spend money like that. But we've been conditioned to think that way due to media framing. Because the media is constantly highlighting negative aspects of our community, that's what we focus on mentally.
So what do you think is going to change if you just give random people $5 million? I really do think that we need to start focusing on other things. Money will ruin a generation of people. It's about education. How do we get young people educated? Not just 2 + 2 is 4. That's important, but we need more of education of decorum, how to go do a job interview, how to become a leader, how to build generational wealth, how to be disciplined, how to handle emotions and conflict. These are things that I think are way more important than giving somebody $5 million.
Because education was pushed down our throat that this is the way to go. That's why we have more college degrees than ever. But while they were doing that, they was getting rid of the working class black man. See, one of the most important aspects of a community is construction work, because this is the one place where a non-educated man can make good money to take care of his family. And they just stopped hiring black men to do the job. Less than 3% of construction workers are black in this whole country. And what he's talking about is impulse control. But everybody in this country has problems with that. The next mass shooting, go see what he looked like. But it's sad to see these black conservatives do the same thing the mainstream media did for decades. Focus on negative aspects of black people. I bet you this fool doesn't even know that the majority of poor people in this country have always been white people. Affirmative action didn't even benefit black people. It benefited others. Go look at the stats.
Because you could make 10 million, you could make 100 million if you had the intelligence, and I would argue if you had generational knowledge, wealth, stature passed down. You know, I don't think there's nothing in this on planet Earth that black people can't do that white people can do in America. I don't know about these other countries. I don't know. But in America, I can go anywhere. You know, I just don't understand. Like I'm renting a facility. My headquarters I'm renting, you know, I wish I'd have bought it, but at the time it wasn't available for sale and it was exactly what we needed to build. But the person who owned the building is white. The man ain't got no problem with me and I ain't got no problem with him. We cool.
Yeah, because you think like him.
Like, where are these people that are not renting to black folks? And my headquarters is in one of the nicest areas in Phoenix. It's literally a mile, probably about 5 miles from the wealthiest zip code in Phoenix. Out here, you know, in the what they call Silverleaf area, in the Scottsdale Silverleaf area, them houses are $20 million a piece. 30 million, 20 million, 15 million, 10 million. I don't think in Silverleaf there's a house under like $10 million because I look it on Zillow every night. Where did I get discriminated against? I belong to a gym that costs a lot of money to be there. Nothing but white people. People at the front desk, cool. People speak to you. I ain't had no problem with white people.
Now you see, this is how you know he's simple-minded. He does that because that's the same thing his puppet masters did. Make it all about white people. Even though most people in this country have no power, white, black, whatever, they have always found black men to do this. Just like the hand-picked so-called black leaders. They used to always talk about the white man. That's what their puppet masters told them to do. And this is how the rich man keeps us divided. Even during slavery, less than 5% of whites owned 90% of the slaves because you had to be a landowner. But they frame it this way because they know most Americans are emotional about race. They did the same thing during the 1960s with the Black Panthers. When the Black Panthers first came on the scene, all their talk was about the system and the government, what they were doing to black people. Then the FBI infiltrated the Black Panthers and suddenly the narrative changed to the white man. But it's never been about the white man. It's always been about the system, the government, and the rich man. And for him to use his anecdotal experiences is goofy, just like that t-shirt he's wearing.
You know, I don't know where these things are coming from, except for people who are looking through a lens that everything is racist and everybody's against black people. And that's not a good way to live, because you will never succeed hating on the next man.
And you see how he tried to twist this into like it's race hustling or something? This is a trick they use to try to get people to think racism doesn't exist, like it's a figment of our imagination. But I can show him where racism happens every day. But does that mean all white people are racist? No, but it happens every day. But he wouldn't understand that because, like most Americans, he think racism only exists if somebody is hanging from a tree or there's people wearing white sheets. All right, folks, that's it for this video. You guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.